Hello, my friends, and happy Halloween, and welcome to another edition of my reviews. This one, of course, you have heard about because it has many different incarnations of it. This version is the second animated incarnation, or rather, third incarnation of its kind, being that it was animated. The first you've seen in the Scooby Doo movies. The second was a standalone cartoon series right after the 90s version. And this is the third incarnation that is more closely based off the comic made by Charles Addams. This I'm talking about is the Addams Family, 2019. The 2019 incarnation of the well-known popular series was something I saw quite previously about a week ago at Cinemark. And the Addams Family is like another show from the 60s or the 50s, take your pick, called the Munsters, not the Monsters, the Munsters, in which it's about a family that basically grew up around suburbia. And of course, during that time, which really hasn't changed over the last 50 some odd years, has not changed as far as differences are concerned. The difference between this version and the other versions you have heard about is that this one actually has backstory, which is surprising because this is the first time I've ever heard of the Addams Family actually having a backstory. So the plot goes like this: Gomez and Morticia, it was just them. They were having a ritual, which it was basically a marriage. They were getting married on opposite sides. And while this was going on, mind you, this was happening during the witch hunts, and basically because of Morticia's background and how people are grown by fear about other people that aren't like them, they start a mob and they start to go after them. They escape by way of Gomez's brother Fester. They find a place to hide, and at the same time, on the way to find a place to hide, they find an escapee, which is a hulking beast by the name of Lurch, who along with Thing went along with Morticia, Gomez, and Fester into an asylum, which later became the Addams house. Now, some time later, they slowly began to form a family. Of course, the oldest in the picture, as you see, is Wednesday, Thursday Addams, and of course, the youngest is Pugsley. And of course, later down the line, Grandmama shows up to stay with the family. And then, of course, like in the 90s version with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston, the entire brood came over for a celebration. Now, here's the funny thing about this version, other than the other versions you've heard about. it's all about accepting differences. This is what I noticed about all the different versions of the Addams Family. This one hits closer to home because it is about differences. Now, despite the fact that they come from a creepy background and whatnot, they look strange. They look way out of the ordinary. They they manage to stay who they are as a family, and it's all about acceptance. In in a community in which not like their own, this community that they lived in or are living in, they're basically good people. They just trying too hard to be a perfect community. And believe me, there is no such thing as a perfect community. I mean, come on. The internet is a prime example of that. From what I have seen, it all started with Wednesday because she wanted to break the mold of staying in the house, wanting to be feared and everything. She wanted to go to school. She wanted to basically become her own person. She doesn't want to end up like her mother, but as parents would say, it's a phase, don't worry about it. It's not really a phase, it's just trying to find character within their own selves. Find their own place in the world, if you will. It's the same with Pugsley when he's going through something close to the mamushka, but it's not called a mamushka, it's something else. The masoka, it's called the masoka, not called the mamushka. The mamushka was in the '90s version, and that was for like finding Fester, who they thought wasn't really Fester, but it really was Fester. He just lost his memory. The same thing can be said about Pugsley because he's coming of age. Pugsley has to go through a family tradition in which, for some reason, swords don't work with him, but yet explosions do. Like I said, it is basically a little bit of everything. You got coming of age, you got acceptance, you got everything else. Be who you are and accept who you are. And the message is quite clear. Basically, it was all about that. They wanted acceptance. I enjoyed this movie because it had a strong message and it didn't slap you it didn't slap you around, it didn't bang you over the head. It basically just showed it to you as weird and kooky and altogether spooky. It basically was the best incarnation of the Addams Family I have ever seen in a long time. And that goes without saying. In all the film incarnations of the Addams Family, there was the reunion movie, there was the '90s movie, and its sequel, Addams Family Values. Then there were the animated versions, which was the Scooby Doo movies. Then there was the Hanna Barbera version, and then there's this version, which I believe was done by MGM. Yeah, MGM. MGM. Basically, the Lion was basically part of the Addams Family. I found something funny about that. Oh yeah, yeah. And it was just I enjoyed it really. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. And what was even funnier was they kept the theme song. Oh, by the way, there were many different versions of the Addams Family on video game console. There was Fester's Quest based off the old TV show um, Addams, the Addams Family for TurboGrafx 16, Nintendo, Game Boy, SNES. I think I mentioned TurboGrafx. It might have been the TurboGrafx CD, but that was based on. They were all based off the movie. Funny, I don't think there was a Genesis version of it. And then there was a sequel based off Addams Family Values that was only Super Nintendo only. And then there's the one that was based off the animated series, the Hanna-Barbera series, Pugsley's Scavenger Hunt. Technically, yeah, the Addams Family really has something. And like I said, it sort of, it's like the Munsters. And any sort of show that came out during the 50s or 60s, it had to have many different incarnations of it, just to show that they went with the times. That's the thing about the Addams Family here. This version actually went with the times. Just like the 90s version, this version went with the times, and even more so, it started with the parents, and then it went to the kids. And the kids had to teach the parents, hey, this is who I am. You made me. I'm growing into my own person. Basically, that's what the whole movie was about. Even in the end, which I don't know how, and I'm not going to question it because it's the Addams Family. That's another thing that I enjoyed while I was there. The theme song was kept in there. We all stayed for the theme song. They updated the theme song to where, it's the classic theme song, not no remix, not a remake, just the theme song. That's one thing that the 90s version did not really put into play. It didn't really play the theme song with the lyrics and everything. And they went even farther than that with the bouncing ball. So, when I say the Addams Family is worth checking out for yourself, absolutely. It's creeptastic. It's it has all makings of a proper family film. It really is that well done of a movie. The voice acting was top notch. Even strangely, Snoop Dogg was in it, and he was Cousin It. I don't know how, but I'm like, okay, if you were only credited for just doing the rap, and you were considered Cousin It, and that was the only part in the movie you've actually ever played, okay. I got nothing to say, but okay. I mean, like I said, even though I have not seen a good movie, let me repeat that, a good movie in a long time. Because, some movies come and go. I'm not really big on, certain series. But when it comes to something like classics, like, say, The Addams Family, The Munsters, Dragnet, and so many other series, or very few series that had some level of incarnation to it, then, it's worth watching. Especially if you're a fan of the series, either the old TV show, the movie, or even the animated series, or even the video games. The Addams Family is basically one of those movies you want to watch with your own family, or maybe a couple friends. It is something that is worth watching, and for what it's worth, I give it 2 snaps up with that. So, my friends, if you really want to check out a good movie, go see if the Addams Family is still in your neck of the woods. Go check it out for yourself. Enjoy it, because I sure have. I've enjoyed it for myself. Even I caught the gist of the dark humor in this, because I, just like him, are just as creepy and weird, but even more on a stranger scale than most people think I am. So with that, I'm not getting rid of this take, folks. This is my third take doing this video. Just letting you know. Yeah, that will do it for this time for my reviews. So next time I will probably review something else. So until then, take care. God bless. Do not overcompensate on the candy. Your taste may vary, and so is the Skittles. And I'll see you next time for something else. Until then, I have been your friendly neighborhood Tenkaichi. And I'll see you next time. So, until then, see ya.